Brian Tracy's success speech. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much for coming tonight. I promise you that time we spend together will be very valuable. How many people here would like to double their income? If I can show you how, will you give it a try? I'm going to show you today how to double your income. I'm going to show you how everyone doubles their income, and it begins with changing the way you think. The starting point of doubling your income is very simple. Is to make a decision to double your income and set it as a goal. If you do that, everything else changes for you. Now, I have some good news. The good news is that we're living in the very best time in all of human history. South Korea has become a role model for the rest of the world. South Korea is talked about all over the world as a model for what is possible in any countries, and I'm so honored to be with you. I thank you very much for inviting me to come. We have now entered into the 21st century, and many things have changed. One of the most important things that have changed is that we have left the world of physical work and we've moved into the world of mental work. All your success is going to be determined by how well you think. The most effective thinkers are the ones who will control the future, and you are among the top 10% of the people in our society. How do I know that? It's because you're here. It's always the top 10% of the people who come to this program. It's always the people who have a wonderful future who come to this program. I know because I've spoken to you and to other people like this for more than 20 years, and it's always the best people. So that is why I say you own the future if you decide to own the future. The 21st century is going to be the best time in all of human history. Here in South Korea, there are going to be more opportunities and more possibilities than ever in the history of this country. Going back to 2,332 years before a crisis when the Hermit Kingdom was originally founded. There will never be more opportunities in South Korea than now, except for tomorrow and the next day and for the rest of your lives. This is a wonderful time to be alive. This is the best time in history for us to be alive. Now I've spoken in 25 countries. I've traveled in 90 countries. I have learned different languages, not Korean. But I've learned different languages so that I could understand their cultures. When I was in my 30s, I went to university and I took a business degree. I spent thousands of hours of studying, I read thousands of books. I read hundreds of thousands of articles, and I come to some ideas about why some people are more successful than others. And I'm going to share those with you in the time that we have together. So I have a question for you. Who is the most important person in this room? Exactly, you are the most important person in this room. You are the most important person in your world. And here you are the most important person in your own world, and here's what I discovered, and it changed my life. I discovered that how important you think you are determines almost everything that happens to you. If you think that you are an important person, you like yourself more. If you like yourself more, you set bigger goals for yourself. If you like yourself more, you set higher standards for yourself, you persist longer. The more you like yourself, the more you like other people, the more you like other people, the more they like you and want to be in business with you. The more important you feel you are, the more valuable you feel you are, the better is your health, and the better is your family. Here's what we discovered. Parents who like themselves raise children who like themselves. Parents who like themselves raise children who have high levels of self-confidence. They are all willing to take on every challenge to be successful. The most wonderful thing you can do for your spouse and for your children is to like yourself and consider yourself to be a valuable person. So I want you to say these words for me. I want you to say these words. I like myself. From now on, whenever you think of any difficulty, you simply say I like myself. When I was a young man, and I learned this, my self-esteem was very low. And your self-esteem is very much like a tire with a slow leak. It starts to go flat whenever you go out to build your business or build your life. So you have to keep pumping it up. I like myself, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. Every time you say, I like myself, your self-esteem goes up. Every time you have a difficulty or a problem, your self-esteem goes down. When your self-esteem goes down, you pump it up. I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. When I started off with this, I would repeat this to myself 10 times, 20 times, 50 times a day. I needed it, alright? You should do the same thing. But I don't suggest that you say this in crowded elevators or in public washrooms. But just say, I like myself, whenever you are going to a meeting. You get yourself psychologically ready by talking to yourself in a positive way. Here's what we have learned. 95% of your emotions are determined by the way you talk to yourself. If you talk to yourself in a positive way, you have positive emotions. You have more self-confidence, you have high self-esteem. People like you, people want to do business with you. What percentages of your decisions are emotional? And what percentages of your decisions are logical or rational? Well, the answer is 100% of your decisions are emotional. Human beings are completely emotional. We decide with our emotions and then we justify it with logic. If you want to build your business, remember this is how people feel about you. Is the most important determination of what they do with you? If they like you, and then like your personality, then they want to be associated with you. So when you go to work on yourself, you improve every part of your life. Final question, how many people here are self-employed? Well, the true answer is that everyone is self-employed. Everyone works for themselves. Everyone is the president of a company with one employee, yourself. You are the president of own your entrepreneurial company with one service to sell, and that's your services. Even if you work for someone else for all your life, you're always self-employed. You are always the president of your own personal services corporation. Now this is important because the top 3% of the people in our society see themselves as a self-employed. Average people think that they work for someone else. But then that means they think that someone else controls their life. That someone else makes decisions for them, that someone else would take care of them and love them and hold them. Most people when they become adults go from their home with their mother and father to work, and their boss becomes their mother and father. And they want to be taken care of like little children. But the fact is that when you become an adult, you become the president of your own life. Now I have a magic pen here, and I got this pen in Switzerland. And it's a magic pen that gives me special powers. And you shouldn't believe that. But by the powers vested in me, I hereby dub you all presidents. You're all presidents, you're all CEOs, and you're all in charge of your own lives and your own companies. Congratulations. If someone asks you where you work tonight, you say you were at a president's conference. Yes, you got together with other presidents from around Seoul to learn how to run your business more profitably in the coming year. If they say, well, I never heard about it. You say, well, you probably weren't on the list. They say, what did they talk about it? You'll say, well, mostly presidential matters. They'll be of no interest to staffs. In fact, if you're not with your husband or wife tonight, afterwards you can phone home and say, I'm now the president of my own company. And your husband and wife will say, oh, no, you've been fired again, but you are all presidents, right? What that simply means is that you accept responsibility for your own life. You do not blame other people for your problems, you do not make excuses, you do not complain about things that you don't like. If you are not happy with something, you are the president, you change it. If you have problems, you solve them. If you have goals that you want to achieve, you achieve them. The big difference that I've ever seen working all over the world, between people, is that a small number of people like yourself are active, they take action to achieve their goals. But the majority of people are passive. They wait for someone else to come along and solve their problems. They're waiting for a bus on a street where no buses go. They keep waiting for the bus. And the bus never comes. They keep waiting for someone else to come and improve their lives, but not you. You are the elite. You are the top 10%, you are proactive, you make things happen, you don't wait for things to happen. But let me tell you about myself just a minute. I started off from a poor family. We did not have very much money. My father and mother did not always have jobs. From the time I was 10 years old, I worked in the neighborhood to earn my own money to pay for my own clothes, and I never took money from my parents again from the age of 10. I did not graduate from high school. I finished in the half of the class that makes the top half possible. They say that everybody is good for something, even if it's only to be a bad example. And I was a bad example. So when I left school, the only job that I could get was washing dishes in the back of small hotel. And when I lost that job, I got a job washing cars with a car company, and when I lost that job, I got a job washing floors with a janitorial service. I thought that washing was going to be my future. But it was a downhill trail. So when I lost those jobs, and lost when you say, I lost a job. When you are young, it means that you got fired. When I got fired from these jobs, I would go to the next job. I used to live in my car at one time because I didn't have a place to live. I would work in factories, sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes overnight.